This is Michael, the host of the WDYM podcast. You ever hear an episode and want to give your 2 cents? Now you have that option with the text and talk. In each episode description up at the top, you see the option for text and talk. Hit that link, start texting, and I'll start talking. Be a part of the WDYM podcast and start text and talking with me.
You're listening to the WDYM, the What Do You Mean podcast, Hamilton's #1 podcast. Now sit back and relax. Here's Hamilton's own Michael Gillespie.
And welcome to the WDYM podcast. I'm your host, Michael Gillespie. Hope all is good. Hope all is well with you. Guess what? It is that great time of the year. It is football season in Ohio. So that means high school football is getting ready to start. The most purest form of football, in my opinion, is high school football. And it gets no better than Hamilton versus Badin to kick off the 2024 season. So today, we're going to go all the way back to the 1980s, talk about every game of the series, and lead up to the 2024 game, which is being played in Fairfield. Yeah, Fairfield. We'll touch on that when we get to that. But let's start this off with the 1980s. Now, anytime we go back in the time machine, we have to play the time machine music. Let's go back to the 1980s. Yes, the smell of the 1980s is in here. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, 1980 starts off with ending the Fairfield versus Badin series. They used to play each other, which was a shocker to me because, you know, you would play Fairfield, but you wouldn't play Hamilton. That's cool. It's all right. Back in the day, before the game led up, in the 1970s, Hamilton was 2 schools. I guess there was a booming population back then. Hamilton then at the time decided to divide up into 2 schools. One on the east side, Garfield. One on the west side, Taft. The Garfield Griffins and the Taft Tigers were the 2 Hamilton schools back in the 70s. In 1980, those schools decided to re-emerge, become Hamilton again. They decided to play the Badin Rams. Let me give you a little story about the Badin Rams and why this rivalry is a thing. Badin football is all about prestige. And who brought that prestige to Badin is no other than Terry Malone. Terry Malone is one of the greatest coaches in Ohio football history. Let me repeat that. Terry Malone is one of the greatest coaches in Hamilton football history. He's the one that made Badin great. He's the one that put the prestige in Badin. And it goes for decades. He was the coach when it was called Hamilton Catholic School. When they transformed into Badin, he was still there. But we will touch more about Terry Malone later. So the game is so big that it cannot be played in Hamilton. At this juncture, Hamilton only has the athletic field in Garfield, at Garfield. And that can maybe host maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000 tops back then. The magnitude of this game, the first time Hamilton and Badin played, they had to go to Middletown, to Burnett Stadium. Burnett Stadium could hold roughly, I think back in the day, maybe 10,000, 12,000 maybe. That had to hold the game because it was so big for Hamilton. During this juncture before the game, it was such a build-up. It was even a build-up during the summer. People were pointing out this game. They knew that, you know, 1, this has never happened before, and 2, it's a big thing for Hamilton. Still to this day, it's still a big thing for Hamilton. So what happened in that 1980 game? It was the Farquis show. Tony Farquis scores 3 touchdowns in the second half to propel Badin to beat Hamilton 28-14 in the inaugural game. And in fact, Farquis fumbled on his first play from scrimmage in the third quarter. He paved the way for Hamilton to take the 14-7 lead. And afterwards, he pointed to that. That really got me mad, Farquis said. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I wanted to get it back. And he did it 3 times to Hamilton. So the notes in this section is outstanding performance, followed by Badin defense and keep away. Remember that, because according to the box score, Hamilton had 9 yards passing. Now, again, this is the 80s, and I don't think they believed in passing, period, but yeah, 9 yards passing compared to Badin's 74. So there you go. So Badin 1, Hamilton 0. Now, I always like to think deeper, put some thought into this. Like, why did Hamilton lose this game? Because they have 2 schools full of talent, right? With Garfield and Taft. And Hamilton at the time had to make a choice for who they wanted to lead the newly formed Hamilton. Do you go with Dale Robinson with 1 year of coaching experience and went 5-5 at Taft, or Leonard Rush, who went 11-17 with 3 years at Garfield? You all seen the movie Remember the Titans. This is the same thing that happened, in my opinion. The same thing might have happened, but in reverse. And it wasn't successful. Even though at the 1980 game, both teams were undefeated at the time, Badin went on to win. And that's 2 things that could happen. Like, people that were loyal to Coach Rush at Garfield was like, I ain't playing. I ain't playing for Coach Robertson at Taft. I'm a Garfield guy. That could happen. Or 2, Terry Malone was just that darn good. I don't know. I mean, one could lead to the other, or the other one could be factual. So we'll never know. And I hate that. The only thing I don't like about this is that I can't find these people to talk to, because that would be interesting to talk to Leo Rush, to talk to Dale Robertson, and see their opinion on the game. But can't do that. So let's fast forward to 81. The 1981 game, it was a low scoring defensive game. And the final score was 3-0 favor the Badin Rams. Rick Sano, if you may know, he's a local guy who does journalism and has his own sports reporting page and everything. He kicked the lone field goal, 27 yards, to beat Hamilton 3-0. Game was a great game. Hamilton defense, Badin pride, a proud coach, a perplexed coach, and a tinge of melancholy. Written by Galen Dusky from the Hamilton Journal. The Hamilton defense was literally on the field the entire first half as Badin marched from 20-20. The problem was the Rams couldn't score. The reason was the Big Blue defense. It's the kind of game I expected, said Coach Malone. And while waiting to board a bus back to Hamilton, is a very, very tough defensive game. Obviously, I'm pleased that we won, but I have to give Big Blue credit for the great defense. To realize the magnitude of effort turned in by the Big Blue defense, one need to consider the fact that Hamilton ran 9 offensive plays in the first half. 9 offensive plays. Overall, we had a good defensive effort, Malone said, after his team rang up its 3rd consecutive shutout, adding Hamilton to the list that includes Roger Bacon and Fairfield. The Rams had Hamilton to 2 first downs, 1 by penalty, and 21 yards of total offense. So you see the formula to beat or to have a moment between the Hamilton-Badin series. You got to have an individual performance and something lacking. What was lacking in this game was the Hamilton offense. The box score for this, get this, first downs, Badin 15, Hamilton 2. Rushing yards, 156, Hamilton 19. Passing yards. Now again, we're in the 80s, people. Remember? Passing yards, Badin 79, Hamilton 5. So you see the formula here. Individual performances followed by someone shutting somebody down, right? In the first game, baiting defense. Second game, baiting defense and hold on to the football. That, my friends, is Terry Malone football. And the thing is that when this game happens, like I try my best to reach out and just get an internet quote, an internet question. Rick Sano has a Twitter/X account, and I'm pretty sure he's busy. But I just reached out and said, can you tell me about the 81 game? Just a little bit. Because that is your game. That is your single-handed performance that gave Badin a 2-0 lead in the Hamilton versus Badin series. Yeah, he don't respond, but that's cool. I don't expect him to, but it would be nice to, hopefully, if he would ever reach out. 20 years later, approximately, 1999 to be exact, the series picks up. Now, we've had over 20 years of, kids come in and out, things change, and we get this coach named Ed Minery. Ed Minery graduated from Badin. So that's the thing I love about this rivalry. We're intermixed. There's some Badin people that are now Hamilton people that are now Badin people. That's what makes this rivalry beautiful. So in 1999, this young man, I'm a student at Hamilton High, and we all are energized about the Hamilton Badin game. This has not happened in our lifetime, and we get to witness this. And I was close friends to a lot of football players, and that year we were okay. So I'm not saying we were bad, but we weren't terrible. I would argue that the GMC is the best football conference in Ohio. The thing about the GMC is that it's dominated by great teams, the Princetons of the 80s and 90s, the Coleraines of the 2000s, and then we have those in-between years where we have Hamilton winning a couple GMC championships, Lakota winning a championship, and to top it off, Lakota divided itself to East and West, Lakota East and Lakota West. Competition is the thing for the GMC. We used to play 2 out-of-conference games. Now we're down to 1. We get 1 out-of-conference game, and you jump into GMC. And I'm telling you, hands down, the toughest conference in Ohio. Look it up. Back to 1999. We are talking about the game. Hamilton is, I think they're 3-6, and I think Badin is like 8-2, getting ready to go to or 7-2, getting ready to go to the playoffs. And the hype is all too real. First and foremost, now Hamilton has their own football stadium at the school. Virgil Swarm is built. Okay, so we have that going for us. We have a stadium right outside the school. The stadium could fit, I think, roughly 7,000, maybe 8,000. Don't quote me on that. So the hype is there. The Journal News is publishing articles every day leading up to this series because, again, we have the 80s to talk about. We have this inner city rivalry that's not been touched in 20 plus years getting ready to go down. The city is hyped. The thing that I'm talking to the football players, like, hey, man, what we doing? We going to win this game? We going to win this game or not? I'm asking everybody. I'm asking all the football players, hey, man, hey, man, we're going to be Badin. And they'll be like, yeah, man. I'm asking Kevin Wilhelm, Kevin, we gonna beat Badin. Like, man, they smaller than us, man. We gonna beat them. I said, okay, but we 3-6, man. I said, you 3-6, man. I said, what'd you say? I said, nothing, man. I said, nothing. I'm asking my friend Mo, man, we win. Like, man, we better win. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay. So I'm asking Huff, David Huff, like, Huff, man, we gonna win. He's the most relaxed cat I've ever seen. He's just sleepy, relaxed. Like, yeah, man, we gonna win, man. Come on, man. What do you think? We gonna lose? I said, no, I'm just asking because you on the field. Like, man, come on, man. We playing the GMC, bro. We gonna win. I said, we gonna win. He said, yes. we gonna win. What happened? Badin scores first. And that is right about it. It was the Ryan King, David Huff show. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that Ryan King ran everywhere he wanted to go. He ran for 227 yards. That, at the time, was a single game record. 271 all-purpose yards, add 2 touchdowns. So I was like, Ryan King, what'd you do? That's what he did. He did that. And on top of that, Huff, remember the all chill, relaxed, chilling type Huff? What I said, Huff, what'd you do after the game? He did. He did his stuff. He scored by run, reception, interception for touchdowns to lead Hamilton to a 45-13 victory. The biggest margin of victory in the series to put Hamilton on the board 2-1 now is that's the formula for Hamilton. The formula is either good defense or superstar performances. Let's look back. Tony Farquis, 3 touchdowns. Rick Casano, only field goal. This game had 2 superstars. Ryan King, 271 all day. Huff, 3 touchdowns all day. So the formula's in. The formula's in on how to be Badin in the 90s. It's athleticism, right? 45-13 says athleticism. And in the 2000, the next year, because this is a 2-year thing, it should be the same thing. I know these people, man. I see them all the time. The Jermaine Wells, the Derek Wilkersons, the Tez Morrises. I told you about Tez Morris, like hit people so hard, hit him 2 weeks in the future. It's loaded. This is a loaded squad. And next year is going to be the same, right? So this should be second verse, same as the first. There's no way we're losing 2000 game. The formula's right there. It's athleticism and individual performances. That makes a Hamilton victory. Plain and simple. And it's just, for me, it's jubilation because Hamilton won. So we're all playing the theme song. We're ready for 2000. Let's go. Right? But towards the end of that game, there's this one guy. I don't even want to mention his name. This is Tommy Puma. Tom Puma throws this little rinky-dink touchdown at the end to give Badin another touchdown. 45-13. Tommy Puma, whatever you want to call him. He saw that. He saw the 1990 game and said, hey, hold my burr. He said, hold my burr. We got 2000 to play. I go to the 2000 game expecting the same. It's like, this is going to be cake. This is going to be easy. You know, this is it's the same formula. We got all the athleticism. They don't have the athleticism to beat Hamilton. They don't. Okay? Is this no way? And both teams struggled that year. They weren't top tier teams. This wasn't the same Terry Malone team. So, again, leading up to the game, it's the same time we know. We say, hey, man, is Hamilton going to win? Like, there's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that this is going to happen. You remember that guy I mentioned, Tommy Puma? Yo, he said, hold my burr. He was not playing. So I was like, you know what? Let me reach out to TV Hamilton. TV Hamilton has been advertising, showing like clips on Facebook of the game. And I was like, wow, they got clips of the game. Let me reach out to him. And say, hey, let me get that 2000 game on DVD. They said, no problem. So I got it. So I go to the game and I watch the game, and Badin wins the game. I believe it was 16-10 at Virgil Swarm Stadium. Badin won the game. Watching the game on DVD, I realized Badin 12 is Tom Puma. Tom Puma scores every point for Badin. He did it all. I'm not playing when I say that. When I say Tommy Puma did everything, he did everything. Kicking, field goal, extra point, touchdown. Tommy Puma, I think his name is Tommy B. Puma. The B stands for Badin because he did it all for Badin. He did it all. Now, again, as a person who loves this game, who loves this rivalry, I read about Tony Farquis scoring 3 touchdowns, but he didn't do it alone. I read about Rick Cassano's field goal. He did it alone. David Huff, Ryan King, combination, put the whooping on Badin. This performance by Tommy Puma has, and including the 1999 game where he threw a touchdown. This performance by Tommy Puma, arguably one of the best performances in Hamilton versus Badin history. I'm serious about that. I would love to talk to Tommy Puma. First, give him a mean look because that was not cool. At the same time, give this man his flowers. I want to know how he felt after this game. He did everything. Now, watching the game, yes, he did 90% of the work. But there was 2 other people that deserve applause. Okay, so while yes, Tommy Puma did a lot of credit goes to Drew Teakin and Andy Furman. Those 2 also helped a lot with the running game and everything. And despite Big Blue's athleticism, and a big shout out goes to Derek Wilkinson. That he had a run that set it off, man. I think he had 135 yards that game. And the thing that I question looking back at the game is, why did we quit feeding Derek? Like, dude, the thing about Derek, Derek's like my height, maybe a couple inches taller than me. The man could run. And it's like, once we did that, we got away from it. Now, granted, the defense of Badin was good that game. It was great that game. But now in hindsight, I could watch the game again. Some of the play calling was questionable. And hold on, I got a mystery for you. The quarterback from Hamilton was from Badin. Was he sent there to purposely lose the game? Maybe. We'll never know. But either way, that was the cap of the series for another 20 years. Fast forward to 2023. You don't know what to think right now because, again, we've had 20 years of up and down football for Hamilton. We've had bad coaches after bad coaches after bad coaches, and then we finally get some good coaches in, like Nate Mahan. He was our coach, Hamilton grad. Coach Crouch now. He was here before as an assistant coach. It's like, okay, the momentum's slowly going back, getting back to a better standard of Hamilton football. And Badin is still doing its thing. Despite Coach Malone retiring, the program is still at an all-time high, which leads us to the 2023 game. Now, before I even dive into 2023 game, let you know I don't talk about kids, okay? I don't talk about kids. The kids will be nameless and stuff. I'm not going to talk about no kids. It's not fair. It's not right. They kids. But leading up to the game, we as Hamiltonians come together to celebrate. We had this whole prep rally at Markham Park. And this is the first time I get to openly boo people in green. And I'm doing it. I don't care. I don't care if I'm older or not. I see somebody in green, I'm booing like, boo, boo, you stink, boo, go back to wherever you came from. And the thing is that nobody's like angry about it. We're all laughing. And the person that booing us crossing the street, they're laughing and all that stuff. There is colors of blue, of green, of people from Badin, people from Hamilton, people of Hamilton are all together, and we're all at Markham Park celebrating this rivalry that's bringing us all together, right? So it's a good time. It's a good time to see all these people celebrating Hamilton, and that's what I love about this rivalry, this series, that we are celebrating Hamilton, our kids, our people of Hamilton. We're all together enjoying ourselves, right? And I get to boo people in public. That's great. Leading up to the game, so we're at Virgil Swarm Stadium. It's weird. The feeling is weird. Now, again, I have been to the 1999 game as a student, the 2000 game as a spectator, whatever you want to call it, and the 2023 game as a spectator. And again, I don't have no insight. I don't have, nothing. But the feeling that I got from watching the game, that it was just another game to the Hamilton players. I don't know. It just looked that way. It just came off that way. Needless to say that this game was played the first game of the season. How can you tell who you are in the first game of the season? These games previously were played in the 80s in the middle of the season, and the 90s, the last game of the season. At the last game of the season, you know who you are. I need to run it with King. I need to give it to Huff. I need Chris Bryant to throw a touchdown pass. That's who we are. That is Hamilton football. Malone did the same thing. We need to run the ball. Need to give it to Tom Puma. He will take care of the rest. This game, it's the only thing I don't like about this game. It should never be played the first week of the season. Never. We don't know who we are. They don't know who we are. So basically, it's all about how prepared you are. And I don't think Hamilton was prepared. And it showed because, again, individual performances showed as quarterback who's now left, I think his name was Alex Ritzy, performed amazingly, being a great ball manager as quarterback. Badin beat Hamilton 18-0 at the Swarm. But that game was Hamilton's worst game of the year. Worst game of the year. After that, they beat Lakota East 21-0. Mason, Oak Hills. And if it wasn't for the quarterback getting hurt at Princeton and a bad pass interference call, probably would have beat Princeton. We're talking GMC, possibly getting a GMC championship when we haven't had one since 1997. And on top of that, we made the playoffs. Got our first playoff win in the modern day history. Let me say that. Modern day history. And then we lose to Princeton again. 8-4. You can't tell me that's not a successful season. You can't tell me that if that was played in the middle or end of the season, that outcome might have been different. Don't know. But nevertheless, success for the Hamilton Big Blue football. Success for Badin football, too. They went on to go to the playoffs as well. But that is a regular for Badin. So what I did something to honor this tradition, right? This, to me, is the greatest thing for Hamilton when we get together and play this game. So I decided to make coins, bring this rivalry to a physical form. I made coins all the way up to I call them the 2024 coins, which basically each side of the coin has one side Hamilton, one side Badin. And it lists the years that they won their respective game, which leads me to the 2024 game. Again, that game, the 2023 game, was possibly their worst game of the year. Hands down, it was their worst game of the year. And there was flashes of great play, great players on that Hamilton team. They got to play the 2024 game at Fairfield. Now, playing at another team stadium, that's not new to the series, right? We've done that in the 80s, playing in Middletown, and we're playing in 2024 in Fairfield. And I would love to keep this in Hamilton because this is our thing. We don't need to be going to Fairfield to play Hamilton Badin. This is our game. If Badin wants to be on the home side, we should let him. We should let him. Because this is our game. This is how I feel. This is our game, and it should be played on our field, on our land. It just makes sense to me. So what does the 2024 game hold? How's that going to end? With the 18-0 loss in the mind? I follow Coach, I follow Hamilton, and I follow the report. And the report is one of my friends, Chris. He just covers high school everything. Shout outs to Chris for that. It seems like them boys are thirsty, man. I've seen, I'm watching them on the Twitter X. I watch them. And again, they're young men. I don't want to talk about young men, but they seem thirsty. From the clips I've seen thirsty. I've seen Coach Crouch. He's not like taking an interview at the desk. He's in there watching them, drinking water. Like, yeah, we thirsty. And I believe that. I believe that Hamilton is thirsty this year for something great. Okay. So what does that say for the game in 2024? I'm going to just say, watch out now. I'm going to say this. This is what I'm going to say. I think Hamilton's going to kill him. I just a feeling. I just got a feeling that they know. I've seen too much on the Twitter and everything that Hamilton's going to do their thing. Just my opinion. I guess I'll have to do a podcast on that and see exactly how the game went. But that's the series, man. It is right now 4-1. 4-1? That's not cool. You can't go down 5-1 against your rival that you only play 20 years. I'm going to be dead by the time they even the series. We got to win this one. I love talking about this. I can talk about this all day. But that's it. Thank you for listening to WDYM. Thank you for listening to my Hamilton vs. Badin 2023 edition. I guess I'm going to do the 2024 edition after the game. My name is Mike Gillespie. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm almost out of music. Peace out.